Our next speaker is also a Vice President of the European People's Party. He has, time and time again, defended the European project in his country, including the Lisbon Treaty in 2009. In February 2011, he won a sweeping victory, and since then, he has made impressive reforms that are putting Ireland back on track. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the Taoiseach, the Prime Minister of Ireland, Enda Kenny.
Mr. President, party leaders and fellow delegates, this is the first time I've had the opportunity to address the EPP Congress in my capacity as leader of my country, or Taoiseach, as we say in the Gaelic language. I want to thank our friends in the UMP for hosting this important occasion here. The Fine Gael party, which I lead, was a founding member of the European People's Party since the 1970s. And since then, in our capacity as members of the European Union and as members of the EPP, we've been very strong advocates of the European process and have defended and supported and campaigned on every treaty since we joined the European Common Market back in the 1970s. Now, this is a crucial week for Europe. And what is required here is decisiveness and clarity and simplicity from European leaders about dealing with our crisis now and making arrangements for a European Union that can survive into the future. Therefore, it's important that the decisions be made and that they be implemented. And I was delighted to hear speaker after speaker talk about small countries and big countries standing shoulder to shoulder. This is an important European Council meeting because it does represent a crucially important meeting to stabilise the Eurozone and protect and defend the euro. And stability in the Eurozone and within the EU is important for the future prosperity of every single country and every single citizen. Now, I know it's not of any great relevance to all of the members to know what's happening in any individual country, but I would make this point to you. My country is in a bailout programme. It's in a bailout programme. That means it's got a forensic analysis every quarter by the Troika, the Commission, the European Bank and the IMF. And that means that we have had a very difficult set of adverse circumstances to contend with. But the point I make is that when a government stands up and tells the people the truth and works with the people, that you can make very significant strides towards getting the debt reduced to 3% and getting out of a bailout situation. And I look at my own country as being possibly the first, with European assistance and with European cooperation, where government and people work together to get our debt levels down, to be a really strong member economically of the Union, to show that it can work. Lots of people say that the European Union doesn't work. I intend to prove, with European support, with continued European encouragement, working with our people, that our country can emerge from the bailout situation where we have fiscal discipline, fiscal responsibility, rules that have been enforced, and where the people fully understand the reasons why very difficult decisions have been taken. So from that point of view, we have reduced our budget deficit through spending cuts and tax increases. We've restructured and recapitalised our banks. We've increased the pension age. We've reduced public salaries by 20% at the top level, 14% at the middle level, saved $2.5 billion in costs of that by 2015, and reduced the overall numbers in the public sector by significant numbers. These are very adverse conditions for people to accept. Just this week, my government took a further almost $4 billion out of our economy. These are difficult things. So what I want to say is that Ireland can actually be the first example of a country using solidarity and support from our European colleagues to emerge from a bailout situation. Let me be quite clear. I fully support the establishment of stronger economic governance throughout Europe, and particularly within the euro area. In fact, the people of our own country are paying the price now for lack of regulation and lack of rules in the past, and that's why next spring we will legislate in our country for the introduction of debt break within our legal system. New rules alone will not be enough to bring stability to the Eurozone and to our common currency. We have to take decisive and clear decisions now to deal with the crisis now, because the markets will see through it if it's not real. So we've got to be able to prove and demonstrate that when we make decisions, that we're prepared to stand by those decisions and implement them to protect the currency, the Eurozone and the EU. And that's why this week, this evening, the European leaders, political leaders, have got to face this crisis and make decisions that will deal with it. Abraham Lincoln was quoted here before me. He also said, if you tell the people the truth, the country is in safe hands. It is time that we look pragmatically and realistically at the options that are here in terms of the current crisis and how we move forward as a union of 27, 28, accession negotiations opening with Montenegro and other countries. The European People's Party has been a driving force in all of this over the years. I hope that political leaders this evening and tomorrow can focus on this crisis, provide credible firewalls and back these up with ways that we can prove and demonstrate that the European Union and that the treaties that the peoples in the European Union voted for actually do work if they're implemented in full with cooperation from every country. Thank you very much indeed.